guys, so first of all I'm wearing a hat because I've been outside all day because it's like 10,000 degrees. Canadian weather is cruel. You don't have enough time to adjust to like one temperature, like say freezing cold, before it's suddenly blisteringly hot out. So yeah, my yard is actually cooler than my house, so hence the hat. I'm going back outside when I'm filming this video. But I wanted to film a response to Words of a Reader did a video on rereading books, which I thought was really interesting because I actually tend to reread, well, not a lot of books, but quite a few of the same ones usually, multiple times. And I think it's really interesting how you can read a book at one point in your life and then read it a year later and it can resonate with you differently. One book for me that really hit me differently the second time around was The Great Gatsby, which now staring at my bookcase and kind of wondering where it went. I'm hoping it's under my bed or something, because it's not there. But the first time I read it, I hated The Great Gatsby. Like, it did nothing for me. I think it was just because I had heard so much about it that I was expecting it to be a very different book than it actually was. Like, I had formulated my own ideas of it and stuff, and while it was good, like, it didn't mesh with what I had thought it was going to be. And then I read it a few years later over again, and by that time I had read a few of Fitzgerald's other books, and I really liked them, and some Hemingway, and just stuff from the same kind of time period. And yeah, I loved it. It's now one of my favorite books. I can't believe that I ever disliked it. So, and on to the list of the other books that I reread. Jane Eyre is probably the one I reread the most times, which is on my bookcase, but currently it's holding my top shelf up because my bookcase is held up by like these little pin things and they've fallen out, and currently Jane Eyre is just holding up the whole shelf by herself, and if I take her out it's just going to collapse. So rest assured she's over there. And yeah, I love it. I think the first time it's one of those books that I read that just hit me at the right like stage in life, and it just has like a soft spot in my heart. I don't think I'll ever love it as much as the first time I read it, if that makes sense. But yeah, I'll always reread Jane Eyre. I'll probably read it once every year, once every 2 years at most. And on to the rest of the list. I used to reread books a lot as a child. Like as a tween. I hate that saying, but you know what I mean. When I was younger. And one was Robin Hood and His Merry Men. I've read this book, I don't even know how many times. Like, it's in the double digits. It's up there. I still love it. I still reread it every once in a while. Same goes for Black Beauty. Really loved animals as a child, and I always wanted a horse. I lived in the country, and my friends had horses, but I never had one, so Black Beauty was as close as I got. And then another one that I reread lots of times, mostly in my youth, was Lad a Dog, and it was a story about a Scotch collie. And I had a Scotch collie, so it's probably part of why I loved it. And one that I reread multiple times since I was a teenager to now is Edgar Allan Poe. All of it, everything in there. I have reread it multiple times. There's parts of it I think I probably have memorized. Just love me some Poe. To the last few, Jane Austen. I think I've reread most of her books actually, but the ones that I know I've read the most often are Emma. I love Emma. I found a lot of people don't like it, but I think part of it is it reminds me of Clueless, and that could be why I love it so much, but love me some Emma. And then, of course, Pride and Prejudice, because it's perfect. Another one is Truman Capote's Breakfast at Tiffany's. This one actually kind of, like, I always loved the book, but the film I had the kind of same reaction to. Like, I always thought it was something totally different than what it actually was, and when I watched it and I realized that Audrey Hepburn was like kind of like a call girl, I was like, no, this is not what it's supposed to be. She's just a glamorous girl staring in the window of the pastry shop. But yeah, now I love the film and the book, and it's a tiny little novella, and so yeah, it's a quick read and I love it. Oh, one more, and it is Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. I just think that this book's really interesting. I feel like it has a lot of layers, and every time I read it, I discover something different that I didn't notice about it. And, yeah, I think that's it. So, check out the original video, and that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye.